The hardest worker in the room is almost never the most powerful person in it. Read that again. The one grinding 18 hours, the one answering every email, the one drowning in tasks and wearing exhaustion like a medal. That person is not winning. That person is a tool being used by someone who understood something they never will. Machiavelli saw it 5 centuries ago. The prince who works the hardest governs the worst. There is a form of strategic inaction so potent, so counterintuitive, that the moment you master it, you will outmaneuver people who outwork you 10 to 1, and they will never understand how you did it. But this is not about laziness. This is about something far more dangerous. Let me show you. There is a disease spreading through the modern world, and it has a name no one dares to criticize. Hustle culture, the glorification of being busy, the worship of exhaustion. You post the 4 a.m. alarm. You brag about skipping meals. You tell people you slept 3 hours like it's a war wound. And somewhere deep inside, you believe this suffering is proof that you deserve success. It is not. It is proof that you have no strategy. Machiavelli wrote about a specific kind of ruler, the one who involves himself in every minor dispute, who personally oversees every grain shipment, who makes himself indispensable to every decision. This ruler feels powerful. He feels needed. He feels in control. He is none of these things. He is a bottleneck. He is fragile. Remove him, and the kingdom collapses, not because he held it together, because he never built it to stand without him. Now look at the other kind. The prince who appears almost idle, who delegates ruthlessly, who shows up only when the moment is decisive. People whisper about him. What does he even do? They resent his calm. They mock his absence from the trenches. And then the crisis hits. And while the busy ruler is drowning in his own complexity, the calm one makes a single move. One calculated strike, and the entire board shifts. That is not luck. That is architecture. McKeown calls it the effortless state. The point where you stop asking, how can I do more? And start asking, what if the right thing was actually easy? Not because it requires no skill, but because you removed every obstacle between you and the precise action that matters. Most people are addicted to effort because effort feels like progress. It triggers the same reward centers as actual achievement. Your brain cannot tell the difference between being productive and feeling productive. So you stay busy, you stay exhausted, you stay poor. The person above you, the one making 3 decisions a week while you make 300. They understood something you are about to learn. Effort is noise, precision is power. 216 BC. The Roman Republic is bleeding. Hannibal Barca, the Carthaginian general, has just annihilated Rome's legions at the Battle of Cannae. 70,000 Roman soldiers dead in a single afternoon. The greatest military disaster Rome had ever suffered. The Senate is hysterical. Generals are demanding a counterattack. The people want revenge. Blood for blood. Pride demands it. And into this chaos walks one man who proposes the most insulting strategy imaginable. Do nothing. His name was Quintus Fabius Maximus, and his plan was simple. Do not fight Hannibal. Do not engage him. Do not give him the pitched battle he is designed to win. Instead, follow him, shadow him, cut his supply lines, burn the crops he would forage, harass his flanks with small raids, and wait. Rome hated him for it. They called him cunctator, the delayer. It was meant as an insult. Senators accused him of cowardice. Soldiers questioned his manhood. The public mocked him in the streets. Every instinct in the Roman psyche screamed for action, for confrontation, for the glory of direct combat. Fabius ignored all of it. He understood something that Hannibal's other opponents did not. Hannibal was a genius of engagement. His entire strategy depended on Rome doing the obvious thing, attacking, meeting him in open battle, giving him the stage where his tactical brilliance could operate. By refusing to play, Fabius removed the stage entirely. Hannibal wandered Italy for years, winning skirmishes that meant nothing, burning fields that were already scorched. His army weakened. His allies wavered. His supply chain rotted. He won every battle and lost the war, because the war was never about battles, it was about endurance. And the man who did nothing outlasted the greatest military mind of the ancient world. History eventually vindicated Fabius. The Romans realized that his inaction was the most aggressive strategy of all. They renamed cunctator from an insult to a title of honor. But here is the part no one teaches you. Fabius did not do nothing. He did the hardest thing a human being can do when under pressure. He resisted the urge to act. He sat with the discomfort of appearing weak, while executing a strategy that required more discipline than any charge into battle. This is the art Machiavelli encoded into his work. The ability to recognize when action is the enemy. When doing something, anything, is just a way to soothe your anxiety rather than solve your problem. Sun Tzu wrote it plainly. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. But most people read that line, nod, and then immediately go fight. Because restraint is painful. Restraint doesn't photograph well. Restraint doesn't get likes. And restraint is exactly why it works. There is a concept buried in Machiavelli's work that almost no modern reader catches. He called it economia, not economy in the financial sense. Economy of motion, economy of force, the ruthless elimination of every action that does not serve the final objective. Think of a surgeon. A surgeon does not make 50 cuts when 3 will do. A surgeon does not swing the scalpel with passion. Every incision is measured. Every movement is stripped of excess. The surgery is defined not by how much was done, but by how little was necessary. Now think about your life. How many of your daily actions are surgical? And how many are just movement? Emails that didn't need sending, meetings that produced nothing, arguments you entered because your ego couldn't tolerate silence, decisions you made because you felt the pressure of appearing decisive. Cal Newport studied the work habits of the world's most productive people and found something paradoxical. They work fewer hours than their peers, not because they're lazy, because they've eliminated everything that isn't essential. They've compressed their output into focused, deliberate blocks of deep work that produce more in 4 hours than most people achieve in 12. The 48 Laws of Power describes this as Law 30. Make your accomplishments seem effortless, but that law is usually misread as hide your work. That is the surface interpretation. The deeper reading is structure your life so that the work itself becomes minimal. Not minimal in impact, minimal in waste. Tim Ferriss built an entire philosophy on this. The 80-20 principle applied to everything. He asked a question most people are too afraid to ask. What if 80% of what I'm doing is completely useless? What if only 20% of my effort produces any meaningful result? When he tested it, the numbers were even worse. Closer to 95/5, 95% of his activity generated almost nothing. 5% generated almost everything. He didn't work harder. He amputated. He cut clients that consumed energy but produced no revenue. He stopped attending events that felt productive but generated zero outcomes. He automated and delegated everything that didn't require his specific judgment, and his income tripled while his work hours dropped to 4 per week. This is not a fairy tale. This is surgical economics applied to a life. But you won't do it. You know why? Because cutting feels like losing. It feels irresponsible. It feels like you're cheating. Your identity is welded to effort. You were taught that suffering is the price of success, and anyone who succeeds without visible suffering must be a fraud. That belief is the chain, and the people above you, they cut it a long time ago. Japan, late 1500s. 3 men wanted to unify a nation torn apart by a century of civil war. Their names were Oda Nobunaga, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and Tokugawa Ieyasu. There is a famous Japanese riddle about them. If a bird won't sing, what do you do? Nobunaga says, kill it. He was the conqueror, brilliant, brutal, relentless. He unified Japan through sheer force, and then he was assassinated by one of his own generals. His empire crumbled overnight. Hideyoshi says, make it sing. He was the persuader, the diplomat. He rebuilt what Nobunaga started using: charm, alliances, and political genius. But when he died, his dynasty barely survived him. His son was overthrown within years. Tokugawa says, "Wait for it to sing," and that is exactly what he did. Tokugawa Ieyasu waited for decades. While Nobunaga and Hideyoshi fought, conquered, rose, and fell, Tokugawa conserved his forces. He positioned himself as a loyal ally. He avoided unnecessary wars. He let stronger men exhaust themselves against each other. And when the dust settled, when every aggressive player had burned through their power, Tokugawa was the last one standing. Not the strongest, not the most brilliant, the most patient. He established the Tokugawa shogunate. It lasted 260 years, the longest period of peace in Japanese history. 260 years, built by a man whose primary strategy was waiting. This is what Annie Duke, in Thinking in Bets, calls the discipline of the fold. In poker, the amateur plays every hand. They cannot tolerate inaction. They feel that folding is losing. So they bet on mediocre cards, chase bad odds, and bleed their stack dry through sheer volume of play. The professional folds. Again and again and again. 80% of the hands dealt, they push away. They sit, they watch, they study the other players. And when the right hand finally comes, they bet with precision that the amateur never could. The amateur played more, the professional won more. Because winning was never about frequency of action. It was about quality of selection. You are playing every hand. You are saying yes to every meeting, every project, every request, every emotional confrontation. You are spreading yourself across 100 mediocre commitments because saying no feels like missing out. And the person who keeps beating you? They said no 99 times and said yes once to the thing that mattered. That single yes carried the weight of 99 deliberate refusals behind it. That is why it landed like a cannon shot, while your 100 yeses sounded like static. There is a pattern you will notice once you start looking for it. The most powerful people in any organization are rarely the ones doing the most visible work. The CEO is not on the factory floor. The general is not loading rifles. The architect is not laying bricks. And yet, somehow, the person laying bricks believes they are more important than the architect because they are sweating. This is the great delusion of effort, the belief that physical output equals value, that being seen working is the same as producing results. It is not. It has never been. Machiavelli observed this in the courts of Italy. The advisors who ran from room to room, who carried stacks of documents, who looked perpetually overwhelmed, these men were servants. The advisor who sat quietly in a corner, who spoke only when spoken to, who delivered one sentence that redirected an entire military campaign. That man held more power than every frantic bureaucrat combined. Because power does not flow toward activity. Power flows toward decision. One decision can render 1,000 tasks irrelevant. One strategic no can save more resources than a year of optimized yeses. One well-timed absence can communicate more authority than 100 appearances. But you have been trained to fear the appearance of inactivity. You check your email 40 times a day, not because anything urgent exists, but because the act of checking feels like control. You attend meetings not because they produce results, but because being absent might make you look uncommitted. You fill your schedule to the edges, not because every item matters, but because white space on a calendar triggers guilt. That guilt is manufactured. It was installed in you by a system that profits from your busyness. Corporations do not reward efficiency. They reward presence. They reward the appearance of effort. The employee who works smart and leaves at 4 is viewed with suspicion. The employee who works inefficiently but stays until 9 is viewed as dedicated. The system is not designed for your success. It is designed for your compliance. Machiavelli would tell you to see this clearly and then exploit it. Not by working harder within the broken system, by stepping outside it entirely and building your own. There is a difference between passivity and coiled potential. Most people confuse them. Passivity is the man on the couch who has surrendered. He does nothing because he has given up. His stillness is decay. Coiled potential is the spring compressed to its limit. It does nothing yet, but when it releases, the energy is devastating. Its stillness is storage. The art of doing nothing is not about becoming passive. It is about becoming a loaded spring. Every moment you spend in strategic inaction, you are accumulating. You are watching patterns that busy people miss. You are conserving energy that exhausted people have already spent. You are clarifying your position while distracted people are still scrambling to find theirs. There is a concept in physics called potential energy. A boulder sitting at the top of a cliff has done nothing. It has moved nowhere. It has produced no visible result. But the energy stored in its position is catastrophic. One push, and it reshapes the landscape below. Your restraint is the cliff. Your clarity is the boulder. And your moment of action, when it finally comes, will carry the accumulated force of every temptation you resisted, every distraction you refused, every impulsive move you declined to make. This is what Machiavelli meant when he wrote about the prince who waits for fortune to turn. Not waiting passively like a leaf in the wind, waiting like a predator in tall grass, still, invisible, precise, and then one movement that changes everything. Most people fire 100 bullets into the dark and hope one hits. You wait until you can see the target clearly. Then you fire once. That single shot will be worth more than their entire magazine. Here is something nobody talks about. Decision fatigue is not just tiredness, it is erosion of judgment. Every decision you make throughout a day draws from the same cognitive reservoir. What to eat, what to wear, how to respond to that text, whether to take that call. Each one feels insignificant. Each one costs something. By the afternoon, your decision-making capacity is compromised. Not a little, substantially. Studies on judges found that parole decisions made in the morning were dramatically more favorable than those made in the afternoon. Same judges, same types of cases, different outcomes, because the cognitive fuel was gone. Now think about your life. You make hundreds of decisions a day, micro-commitments, small yeses, tiny expenditures of judgment that leave you depleted before the moment that actually matters arrives. The person practicing the art of nothing has eliminated most of those decisions. They have designed their environment so that trivial choices are automated or removed. They have stripped their daily existence down to a small number of high-leverage decisions that receive the full weight of their cognitive power. This is not laziness. This is resource management at the level of the mind. Machiavelli advised princes to delegate everything that could be delegated. Not because delegation was noble, because a ruler who wastes his judgment on trivialities has nothing left when the enemy arrives at the gate. Your gate has enemies approaching, and you are too tired to see them because you spent the morning arguing about font sizes in a presentation nobody will remember. Kill the trivial. Protect the essential. Your clarity is a non-renewable resource. Every hour you waste in reactive busyness is an hour stolen from the one decision that could change your trajectory. You have been told that momentum is everything, that once you start, you must never stop, that consistency is king, that any pause is a step backward. This is partially true and mostly dangerous. Momentum is valuable when it is directed. Momentum without direction is a car with no steering wheel. It moves. It feels powerful. It kills you. There are seasons where the correct move is acceleration, where the opening exists and you must charge through it before it closes. But there are also seasons where the correct move is absolute stillness, where the market is irrational, where emotions are running hot, where every voice around you is screaming, "Do something," and the only intelligent response is to do nothing. Machiavelli studied rulers who lost their thrones not through weakness, but through restlessness. Princes who could not tolerate a quiet month, who invented wars to feel relevant, who restructured their courts during periods of stability simply because stability bored them. They destroyed themselves with their own energy. The Japanese have a concept called ma. It translates roughly to negative space, the pause between notes in music, the empty room in architecture, the breath between words. Ma is not absence. It is the thing that gives everything else its shape. Without the pause, the music is noise. Without the empty space, the room is a prison. Without the breath, the words are meaningless. Your life needs ma. It needs the strategic pause, the deliberate gap, the courage to stop producing and start perceiving. Because in that gap, you will see what no amount of frantic activity could ever reveal. The pattern behind the chaos, the opportunity hiding in plain sight, the move that everyone else is too busy to notice. The person who masters the pause doesn't fall behind. They see the shortcut that the runners missed. And while the runners are gasping for air at mile 20, the person who paused is already standing at the finish line, calm, unhurried, undefeated. So what does all of this mean for you? Right now, tonight, tomorrow morning, it means you need to conduct an audit of your life with surgical honesty. Look at your calendar. How many items on it will matter in 6 months? Be honest. Most of them are rituals of perceived productivity, meetings that produce minutes but no outcomes, tasks that make you feel dutiful but move nothing forward, social obligations that drain you but you attend because guilt is a cheaper feeling than confrontation. Cut them, not gradually, now. Look at your commitments. How many did you say yes to because you were afraid that no would make you look lazy, uncommitted, or difficult? Every one of those yeses is a leak in your power. Every one of them is diluting the force you could bring to the one thing that actually matters. Find the one thing, the single lever that, if pulled with full force, would render most of your other activities unnecessary. It exists. You probably already know what it is. You have been avoiding it because it is harder than busy work. It requires thought. It requires courage. It requires the terrifying admission that most of what you have been doing was theater. Then do that one thing. Not with more hours, with more depth, with the full, undivided weight of a mind that is no longer bleeding energy in 40 directions. Machiavelli did not write The Prince for busy people. He wrote it for effective people, and effectiveness has never been measured by sweat. It is measured by outcome per unit of effort. The prince who achieves peace through one strategic marriage is more powerful than the prince who achieves it through 10 years of war. The cost is lower. The result is identical. The difference is intelligence. You have been fighting 10-year wars that could have been settled with one conversation you were too proud to have. You have been grinding through problems that could have been dissolved with one decision you were too scared to make. You have been filling your days with motion because stillness forced you to confront a question you did not want to answer. Am I busy or am I effective? Sit with that. It will burn. Let it, because on the other side of that burn is a version of you that works less, produces more, and moves through the world with a calm that unsettles every hustler in the room. A version of you that people cannot figure out. How does he have so much time? How is he so calm? How does he keep winning while everyone else is drowning? The answer is elegant and brutal. He stopped doing what didn't matter, and he had the nerve to do it before anyone gave him permission. That is the art Machiavelli encoded. That is what Fabius practiced in the hills above Hannibal's army. That is what Tokugawa understood while 2 empires burned around him. That is what every surgeon, every grandmaster, every apex strategist knows in their bones. The win is not in the swing. It is in the selection of when to swing. Everything else is wasted motion dressed up as ambition. Kill the waste. Sharpen the blade.